Heatran for good measure here from this Thundurus. Beast is in a position where it can maybe start something like another Magma Storm and try and trap in the Thundurus. Landorus going for the Terra Blast, this time into that Cresselia. It does manage to get the knockout, but Heatran now sitting very pretty on the field.
Yeah, and Heatran not going to be really worried about that Stomp and Tantrum anymore, but it has to worry about that Terra Blast coming out from the Landorus. Another miss from that Magma Storm into the Thundurus here, so the Thundurus really not wanting to get affected by it like it did in that game 1, but the Heatran, 2 Eerie Impulses onto it, -4 special, but you've got to worry about the Landorus coming back if it doesn't get naked down, but it is taken down with that Wicked Blow.
It's down and out. Urshifu too strong with the critical hit, will fell the Landorus, and now all eyes are on this Thundurus for Joseph. It's going to go for this Wild Bolt Storm, a new move that's got access to, will connect on both the opposing Pokemon, and Magma Storm, third time lucky, manages to find its mark onto that opposing Thundurus. Does a little bit of damage, but the critical thing here is it's now trapped, and that is a very, very powerful Urshifu on the opposing side for Kengo.
Yeah, and you might be wondering at home, the viewers, why the Thundurus didn't go for the Thunder Wave there into the Urshifu, but because of the Prankster ability not affecting Dark types, that is one of the reasons why the Thundurus and Joseph didn't go for that move to slow down the Urshifu. He had no option there to use any of the speed control. So the Wicked Blow coming out and cleaning up the Landorus.
Well, 3 Heatrans on the screen if you're including Joe's t-shirt there. The Thunder Wave is going to connect down onto that opposing Rillaboom, slow it down in its tracks just a little bit, trying to get a little bit momentum on Joseph's side of the field. Earth Power does connect though. Oh my goodness, huge damage, but the Heatran is going to have to take a couple more of those in order to get the knockout. I mean, that little bit of extra chip could be detrimental, but I think it can still survive, particularly with the grassy terrain recovery. One more of those Earth Powers. Yeah,
that Earth Powers of Heatran not want to contend with any big threats this next turn as the Thunder Wave finally connects with the Heatran on Kenjo's side to slow it down and give it that paralysis status.
The only thing that this Thundurus does better than Revenge is getting paralysis onto the field, able to go for Thunder Wave after Thunder Wave and really slow down the momentum that Kengo is trying to build up here. You can see the recovery as well from that grassy terrain. Really nice to gain that little bit of chip recovery in order to maybe survive these big moves like the Earth Powers.
Yeah, I think for Kenjo though, he's made a really nice switch. He's made it very difficult this next turn for Joe, because I think you may want to switch out your own Heatran, but you can't really switch out your Heatran into the Flutter Mane because there's probably likely a Wicked Blow coming into that slot, and even if not into that slot, the Wicked Blow is going to be going into the Thundurus, and you probably don't have enough. Oh, it does survive though. That is a big survival.
Absolutely amazing. Windbolt Storm able to fire off back, not able to get a KO, however, as Heatran does go for the Heat Wave, will of course connect onto the Flash Fire, but does get the knockout onto that opposing Urshifu. It is down and out, and now Kengo only has 2 Pokemon remaining. The Rillaboom will be forced to come back in. And there's a paralysis on the Heatran. A terrible turn there for Kengo.
That is a huge turn for Joseph, and it is paralyzed at this point. Both Pokemon pretty healthy though on Kenjo's side.
Yes, wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a Protect on Joseph's Heatran here, just in case there is going to be that rogue fake out coming out from the opposing Rillaboom. You don't want to have to take any unnecessary damage, particularly as the Heatran on Joe's side isn't looking the most healthy, and you can try and fire off some big damage in the next turn. There's the Protect.
Yeah, and just burning this fake out. Is it going to come into the Thundurus slot? But no, another Eerie Impulse really hindering this Heatran, putting it down to -6 special attack. So it's not going to be doing very much at all as the fully paralysis comes out from that Rillaboom. Not going to be able to move this turn, and the Thundurus avoiding as well.
I mean, that Thundurus is incredible. It's now dodged 3 of these Magma Storms from the opposing Heatran. And Heatran, you know, like you said, -6 special attack. It's really not going to be dealing too much damage at all. It's a lot of pressure being applied onto it to really neutralize the pressure it's got.
Yeah, the one thing you would have to watch out for if you're on Joe's side of the field is the Rillaboom on Kenjo's team does have access to Stomp and Tantrum, so that can be a big detriment to your own Heatran, so you've got to watch out for that.
Yes, only the Heatran taking a little bit of damage from this Windbolt Storm. You can see it's really not doing too much, but there's not a lot Heatran can, that the Thundurus can even do in this situation. Heatran, on the other hand, can do a lot to that opposing Rillaboom. There's going to be more paralysis to be had on Kengo's side. The Rillaboom's unable to retaliate and get some damage off. Magma Storm finally will connect back down onto the Thundurus. But to be honest, if I was Joseph at this point, this Thundurus is set on the field. There's not a lot more it can do. It's throwing out all the Thunder Waves it needs, and the Windbolt Storm is really underwhelmed. I'd almost be happy for it to go down to bring my Flutter Mane in from the back to start this match.
Yeah, I think that's what you would like if you're Joseph. You don't really want to make the switch and get caught with an attack on the switch. You kind of want to bring your Flutter Mane in a really healthy position and just get as much Thundurus as you can before it does go down to give you that free switch. And like you mentioned here, with that chip damage from the Magma Stone, giving them the free switch into the Flutter Mane, coming in fresh onto the battlefield and going to be able to throw out some big threatening attacks to both of these Pokemon. The Rillaboom now taking a lot of damage from that Heat Wave, putting it in range for this Fluttermane to do a bit, you know, even a Dazzling Gleam here is probably going to be enough. But we are going to just see that Hex combination, double damage, picking up the KO onto the Rillaboom, and that Heatran in a position now where it is not really going to be threatening after all of those Eagles. Joseph managed this game perfectly, going for a substitute as well, as it is the faster of the two because of the paralysis. And another fully paralysis from the Heatran on Kenjo's side. Not well for Kenjo in this game, really unfortunate from that side of things, but really paying off for Joe, utilizing that wave, and you can see the added bonus of that move and utilizing it like he has done in this game.
Yeah, insult to injury there, I think, a little bit with the paralysis. And Fluttermane in a great position normally would be worrying about the potential flash cannon coming out from this Heatran. But thanks to all of the special attack drops and the power of Hex, it just needs one more in order to clean up that match. But it looks like he got its back, going for the Earth Power enough to get the KO, but there's really not a lot the opposing Heatran can do to remove the threat from his side. Here's the flash cannon going down into the opposing Fluttermane. Look at that tiny damage. That's not something we see every day when a Steel-type move connects with Fluttermane.
No, not at all. The special defense drop there, not really going to matter too much because this Fluttermane in a position to just clean things up with that Hex now going into this next turn. And you've got to say that Joseph has managed the game